I have too much free time. Over the past 9 months, I've been recreating Star Wars vehicles to an extremely accurate degree, cooking up near-perfect replicas of the ships and walkers seen on screen. But there's just one problem. They're not big enough. So today, I'm taking on a massive project, building the Venator-class Attack Cruiser at 1:1 scale. For context, this is my 1:1 turbo tank design, measuring 49 blocks long. Pretty massive. And with some simple maths, we know that the Venator is 23 of those. Standing at this end, I can't even render them all in. That's gonna be an issue. Fortunately, there's a mod that allows you to boost your render distance above Vanilla's 32. I'm going with the completely arbitrary 69 and Yep, now we're ready. Step 1, the wireframe. Basically the ship's skeleton. These outlines were thin but crucial. Messing up the proportions here would spell disaster for the finished product. So what's that, like 1% done? Oh dear. I'm using this Venator model by MaxG as a 3D reference. No Blender import tricks here. It just lets me view the ship from every angle. The most recognizable feature of the Venator is her twin bridges. The starboard bridge is the primary command center, whilst the port one controls starfighter operations. That's ship lingo for right and left. I'm using a lot of World Edit here to speed up repetitive tasks. Just know that I'm still handling the planning, fixing up, and detailing manually. And wow, even with the base shaping, you can really get a sense for how ridiculously big this thing will be. The Venator was basically the precursor to the Imperial Star Destroyer. You know, those giant pizza slice starships from the movies. But recreating that angled wedge shape is going to be difficult, and it's going to take days by hand. There's got to be a faster way. Enter the Archeon plugin with its Loft tool, which connects lines in 3D space. Builders normally use it to make flowing shapes like wings or sails, but if I give it 2 lines that connect smoothly, it'll form a level plane. Splendid! Now I just need to clean up the edges, copy and flip it, and we've got ourselves a wedge. Next, I tackled the shape of the main hangar doors that run along the top of the ship. And yes, I'll be building the interior too, so stay tuned. The Venator was a key warship during the Clone Wars, so it's definitely going to need some guns. Every Venator comes fully equipped with 8 double-barreled heavy turbo laser turrets, 4 on either side of the tower. It took some tweaking, but I eventually got them positioned correctly. Next I headed aft, that's ship speak for backwards, outlining the rear flaps and the shape of the stern. This is where I'll introduce the term greebling, and no, it's not a small gremlin-like creature. It actually means adding intricate surface details to make a vehicle appear more realistic and advanced. It originates from designers adding tiny bits of plastic to their models from waste parts. So these greebles don't have a purpose, but they help sell the scale, and I can utilize the same technique. Greebling is such a fun word. Next up, it's engine time. Small problem. We're playing the cube game, and these are clearly cylinders, and a lot of them. World Edit does have a circle command, but even then it places them horizontally. So here's the plan. Measure out the engine's ratios from the 3D reference. Split the shapes into cylinders with different radii. Stack these shapes on top of one another. Rotate them to be the correct orientation, and then position them in the right places. These engines aren't detailed yet. That was hard, so we'll get back to them. Revisiting the bridges now, I textured them red to denote my vessel as a flagship. Then I added further detail, or greebling, to the bridges and central tower. These flight decks marked the first interior section, so I set a high standard with my best sci-fi decor. Looking good, and this view is perfect, which makes sense actually. While you enjoy more lovely detailing time-lapses, I'd like to invite you to my Discord server. I'm growing a positive community of like-minded individuals, and it's the perfect space to get advice and inspiration. After detailing down the hangar doors, it was time to attempt the bow. That ship language, I think you get it by now. Placing the similarly coloured grey blocks required some challenging precision, but I'm super happy with how this section turned out. I mean, look at the little candle details. This has got to be my favourite part so far. Tackling the overhangs on the sides of the ship was tough, due to the angles involved. Even with the power of the loft tool, I could often only use it to establish a base shape, leaving lots of odd angles to be worked out by hand. Turns out there was an easier way to do this using Loft's low poly flag, but I only learned about that after I'd finished the whole darn project. Nestled into the indents of the wedge shape, we find giant blast doors that open up into the secondary hangars. For this interior space, I decided to link up the doors like in Battlefront 2, and parked a bunch of those turbo tanks we saw earlier. I built one and then left them overnight to undergo mitosis. Totally how that works. I found an efficient way to add greebling onto the hull trench using something called the wave function collapse algorithm. Sounds spooky, and that's because it is. It turns a pattern of blocks into tiles, and then fills in a given region like Sudoku, but with blocks instead of numbers. Yeah, basically magic. Ah, it's Shovel. He helped me with the shaping here, by hand, because he bricked his world at it. Not the first time that's happened. Shovel and I are creators for The Bakery, a group of friends that love building in Minecraft. We have a public server where you have free access to all the building tools, and you can meet us there. This symbol is the open circle fleece emblem. To place it onto the sloping hull, I built the shape above, copied it downwards, and replaced the red and yellow wool with colour matching slabs. The open circle fleet was led by the famous High Jedi General Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hello there.
And now just to fill in some details here, some shaping there, a paint job here, and it's all coming together. Gathering up my courage, I revisited the engines, installing these side cover elements and then adding the finishing touches to the thrusters. I even fashioned a new smaller design. And copying them across, these things do feel powerful. On the underside, I added the Republic's distinctive red paint job, leaving space for the ventral docking bay, which was just long enough to house a Consular-class cruiser. The exterior was a monumental task, but it was pretty much complete now. And so I immediately moved on to the interior, outlining the shape of the main hangar. You see, being a key warship, the Venator was also a very capable starfighter carrier. That means we need a lot of space for storing vehicles, such as the LA-AT, the BTLB Y-Wing, the ATTE Walker and its associated LA-ATC, to name but a few. Alphabet soup, man. If you want to download the Venator alongside the countless other vehicles shown in this video and more, you can find it on my Patreon. I offer individual downloads and instant access memberships. Massive thank you to my current supporters. After connecting this hangar to the one with the turbo tanks, I added a medical bay, regional deflector shield generators, and elevators linking up the ventral docking bay to the main hallway. For all the battling the clones went through, I'm sure that this area will come in handy. Behind the secondary hangar, I built the dome-shaped main reactor, alongside its annihilation silos with subsidiary reactor chambers on each flank, and a small prisoner area. These doors are one-way, so you can securely lock your enemies, inside.
No, you what? No. Get me out.
Above the main reactor, I added expansive crew areas for sleeping, eating, and strategizing, connecting those to the twin bridges via elevators and communication centers. Finally, I installed hallways to link up the various turrets and storage areas. With so much floor space inside, the ship has many opportunities for role-playing and exploration.
Can you even drive this, Tom? Like, where's the steering wheel?
But enough of the interior. Let's see our finished product. With an extended render distance, the spyglass actually feels useful, and it truly showcases the Venator's size. I wonder how long it would take to run down the hull. That would be a waste of time though, there's no way I would do that. Subscribe to see me build planetary scenes like Geonosis or Kashyyyk. Thanks for watching.